AI. Welcome everybody. Today we're going to be talking about 43. I wanted to get to 50. I had a hard time. I was at 50. I went down. Anyways, we're going to hear a lot of hard truths about AI that wants to admit. I've got a cool little document here. Let me just see if I can flash it for you. We'll be kind of walking through today. Just look, and again, great piece. I'll make sure you have the link. Also got a little companion guide that might be helpful. But here's kind of the quick and dirty. Been running this AI company for the last 6-7 months. Been buying a lot of AI technology. Been deploying a lot of AI technology. And if I'm honest, there's been some messes. I've been cleaning up some messes, but I've also been celebrating some of the wins. And so today I was hoping to take you through not all 50 or 43 or whatever I have in this piece, but some of the things, the lessons learned, the successes, the messes, and kind of take you through that and maybe talk about some of those so that you, as you go on your AI journey, you can learn from others. These are not all my ideas of my own. Certainly I like to steal. I call it creative plagiarism. So I have taken some from others, in fact, a lot, but I'm going to run through those with you today. So let me just hit some of this. I've got a couple different categories. The first one is this idea of illusion of progress. And one of the things that jumped out to me is, truthfully, I don't know if anybody has this completely figured out. Not even the loud ones, probably like myself. Anyone claiming mastery is either lying or probably selling you something. You feel like you're one of those people, major FOMO, that's something you probably need to get over because nobody's got it totally figured out. When it comes to AI projects, almost everybody I've talked to has been burned once. I know it's sad, but it's kind of true. It's like, what did I say the other day to somebody? Your first AI project isn't a win. It's a lesson that you pay for. So don't be surprised if you maybe have one or two failures on your road to success, because welcome to the club. It happens to the best of us. When it comes to buying AI technology, I don't know if anybody has actually figured out the AI pricing model, right? We're all in this seat world. We've all kind of been dabbling in the old Salesforce approach. I have this. That is not working with AI. And I would say about 99, some percentage, high percentage of vendors have not been able to figure out pricing, and therefore buyers barely get it. A lot of price per conversation or charging per tokens or usage or some outcome word, but it still is pretty unknown. And so have a little bit of patience if you don't understand it, and if some of those vendors don't ultimately understand it. I would say that a lot of people are getting pressure from CEOs and from boards demanding that their teams, their functional areas, do something with AI. But a lot of people, they don't actually feel like they know what those leaders are asking for. So there still is a big misunderstanding. Yes, we should be using AI. I don't know what you should be doing with AI, but I know you should be using AI. I do think that's changing a little bit, but and truthfully, a lot of early it was more about finding a headline. I think people are expecting more results, but a lot of conversations about let's do something, but honestly, they don't really know what to do. Okay, so the last thing I would say on this is when people are talking about AI, they're finding wins in a couple core areas that actually move the needle. And this is one of the challenges you see with AI is finding people, man, I built this little agent and it scrapes a website and it's like nothing. There's no value there. It's like, okay, you saved yourself 5 seconds. That's not really going to put anything on the balance sheet that moves the needle. Don't get me wrong. You got to start somewhere. And time is one of the core benefits, I think, of great AI projects. But there does seem to be these areas where there are more wins than losses. And it comes in those repeatable functions. Think these four. I've kind of called it the big four sometimes. So it's engineering, think tools like Cursor. So many people are starting to experience real benefits or a decrease in potential headcount and an increase in output. Engineering, recruiting. if you're doing high volume recruiting, a lot of interviews, a lot of applications, and you're spending a lot of time, that's an area that we've seen tremendous wins of people actually seeing this is working. This is actually making a big difference. Customer service. Oh my goodness. Yes. That one. Tier 1 support, taking inbound chats, phone calls, emails. That's a big winning area. And then last but not least, something in sales. And sales development, again, roles. So engineering, customer service, recruitment, sales development, 4 areas where organizations are seeing big measurable results. Don't get me wrong. There's fun content pieces and little co-pilots, and obviously ChatGPT is very helpful, but measuring core ROI, I'm seeing more people find their way into those big 4 so that they can actually see larger wins. The last thing I'd say on the illusion of progression is everybody thinks they can build AI themselves. It's so great. So many conversations I've had with people where they're, my engineering team, and they've got some product, some widget, some GTM thing, some tool they're selling. My engineering team says they can totally build this themselves. Like, it's just not a problem at all. They've seen demos and yeah, we can totally build that. Yeah, then the honeymoon ends. They find out it's a lot harder than they think. Bad data, brittle APIs, models that age, and maintenance that's difficult. And so many companies can and probably want to build it themselves. I'm seeing more and more find more failures there and then see their way into an external world where it's like, you know what? We got to be us. We got to do what we do, which is our core product. And we've got to then do what we've always done, find that balance between buy versus build. And I see more people starting to buy than building. Okay, that was one category. The second category that I was playing around with this different group of individuals was this idea of a vendor mirage. So many people talking to different AI vendors and a lot of noise in the market. How do you kind of break through that noise? So the joke I've been putting out there is every vendor says they're not ChatGPT with the wrapper. They're absolutely ChatGPT with a wrapper. Sometimes that's offensive, but you got to be very careful. I think there are a lot of people just putting some skins on ChatGPT, throwing a little bit of something you could basically get through ChatGPT in a voice or some sort of other form. And those probably are easily buildable. Back to this concept, a lot of agents out there. You're hearing the word agent. And don't get me wrong, I think that is going to be one of the core trends as we move into this next year, is people not buying tools, but hiring agents, hiring teammates. But back to this idea of buy versus build, yes, putting together a basic agent is possible, but man, when you actually try to go complex or you try to build multiple agents, that's where we see companies starting to break down. Security, more important than ever. I talked a little bit about pricing misunderstanding. Security they're brutal. Security rules are, and they should be. You've seen problems in the market where people are having problems with security, and so many people don't know what's going on with AI. And so 2 of the probably biggest questions people are seeing is trying to figure out the pricing model. And then number 2, getting their security teams behind some of this stuff that they really just have no clue about. And so they are very nervous about. Smaller projects often win, but too small of projects will kill you. And I was trying to delude that just a little bit before. Some vendors come in and they're like, my goodness, we should start big and we can replace your whole team. And then you got very, very small projects. Again, I was saying like, hey, we can make your content nicer or something. You got to find that middle ground. I love this word crawl, walk, run. That always beats sprint and burn. Crawl, walk, run always beats sprint and burn, because velocity without direction is just noise. And so find that middle ground, not too big, not too small, something that you can start with, gets you a quick win. It does need to be a win. It can't just be some random act or task. Find that medium ground, and I promise it'll make a huge difference. Interesting conversations about new AI roles emerging. A lot of people saying, hey, is AI going to eliminate roles? We're seeing new roles come into play in companies, different titles that involve AI enablement. So many prompt builders out there. You're going to have people who manage this AI, who are able to actually do a prompt structure or interact with these AI agents in ways that we haven't been able to explain. So I do think you're seeing more cool roles pop up often and in a big way. I mentioned it. Let me throw it out one more time. Big vocabulary changing, no more tools. No more AI tools, more AI teammates. Think about that. People aren't saying AI tools anymore. They're saying AI teammates. Software, it's evolving into labor. And honestly, that shift changes everything. As you talk to companies, I've heard so much feedback. Gabe, there's such a big difference between an AI first company and an AI add on company. AI first, what does that mean? Well, I think you've experienced it if you know what I'm saying. Many people had their current tool set, they put lipstick on a pig, and this is kind of a new AI company, but really it is just lipstick on a pig. It feels like a bolt-in, it feels like an add-on, and those companies are what they are. AI first companies are what they are, just much different in their experience, technology, growth, the way they run their business. I think buyers are experiencing this. It's not bad or good. It's just what do you want in your structure? And I would say a lot of people hearing so much FOMO on LinkedIn probably only believe about 10% of what you read. If someone says they billion-dollar company, they grew in 5 minutes, had all this success, table that just a little bit. You got to be careful because sometimes that stuff gets just a little bit overwhelming. Couple more categories I want to take you through. And again, sorry, just random thoughts all on AI, wins, losses as you buy, build, and sell AI. The human problem was the third category. I was trying to kind of classify different things into. Look, great leaders right now are leading through this. I say tourists wait for vendors. You can't outsource ownership. You've got to have great leaders take hold of this. Can't be a side project as it's been for the last year. It needs to be a main initiative of your company. People are scared. And in some cases, I think probably should be. Look, no one wants to admit how much of this still feels like guessing. Half your team, I think, is terrified. The other half probably is obsessed. Your culture is split more than you think. More people are not aligned. And so you've got to see if you can bring that team together. I'm seeing more teams fighting back harder than most people think. This isn't just a tech problem, it's a change management problem. Why? Because AI doesn't just break companies, it shows what's already broken. Bad data, lazy processes, fake productivity don't hide very well anymore. So interesting to see the expectation of AI for people. It's like people expect perfection from some of these AI agents, but they tolerate chaos from themselves. There's a lot of projects that are failing because most of the time they never leave testing. They're trying to get it so perfect when in their other processes, they are messy. So AI, I gotta say, it multiplies whatever environment you drop it into. So brilliant scales and chaos explodes. So watch out for that. Next category, reality check. So many companies trying to use this word experimenting. Look, it's good, but it can be directionless. So be careful of that. I do think there's this word shadow AI that's emerging more in companies. Leadership debate strategy and what we're doing. And then what do they realize? That half the companies already using ChatGPT behind their back. You've got to take the reins and see if you can organize this because, again, it's happening whether you like it or not. One of the bigger challenges on AI projects, integrations. That's where a lot of AI projects are dying. It's not the model that fails, it's the plumbing. Trust. You've got to be very careful with trust. One bad thing can turn you back 3 to 6 months on projects. I do see politics kill more AI projects than accuracy. The org chart sometimes moves slower than the model. A lot of companies spending way too long thinking through these projects. Again, you got to do it right, but if you don't do it for 6 or 9 months, you will start to fall behind. I do got to say, the people who get it aren't talking, man. They are busy deploying and building. And so if you're finding those people who are doing it, grab them and see if you can take them under your wing and utilize some of the stuff they have. Last category here was lessons everyone learns a little bit too late. The measurement mirage. No one's agreeing on what success looks like. They measure adoption or logins. They're not getting to the outcomes. And so sometimes these projects are failing simply because they set up the wrong measurements. The procurement black hole. legal and compliance. They don't know what to do with AI, so they're stalling companies. By the time some of these contracts get signed, the competitors have moved on. I know you got to find a balance, but whoa, I'm seeing months and months and months for contracts that people are either buying or selling. And we're talking about companies with 15 to 30 million. It's like, whoa, that's totally normal for name a Fortune 500 company. But boy, if you're taking that much time for AI and you're only that big, I'm a little nervous about it. Nobody's training their people fast enough. Everyone's using AI, but most companies aren't providing the support. The maintenance is harder than you think. Launching AI is easy, keeping it alive. Sometimes you see bodies pile up. So look, there's so much going on. Learn from myself, learn from others. AI is messy. It can be hard. It can be humbling, but it also shows progress. And every failure teaches you something else. So I wouldn't wait on the sidelines. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just have to get started. And if you're smart, I said, maybe you'll learn from myself and some of the others, the successes and the failures that they've had. Thought that'd be interesting. I'll make sure to link the assets so that you can see these all together, the 42, 3, 4, 5 AI truths that no one wants to admit. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.